Let's try that again. Good morning, my friends. It's a gray May morning here in Southern California. I'm Lama Jigme, and this is Enlightened Fitness, where first we will cunningly use high-intensity bodyweight interval training to help you cultivate the body of a tantric sex god. And then we'll use guided meditation to help you cultivate both the heart and the mind of Buddha. And of course, we'll do this all under the watchful gaze of Coach Kitty Cat, who is my neighbor's cat, who just comes over to hang out because he digs my vibes. Like many cats, he's an energy slut. Come over here, monk boy, give me your energy. I'll give you a flea. Yes. Anyway, I gotta give you a heads up. If you're doing this because you want to lose weight, if you're doing this because you want to revolutionize your health, then be forewarned. More than 70% of health changing or health modification or weight loss comes from culinary choices. That's why I want to draw your attention to the links below this video. About 3 inches below the video, you'll notice a button that reads Show More. When you click it, it'll reveal a list of links as long as my arm. I think the second and third link will take you to a page on my website called where you learn about the low-fat, whole-food, plant-based diet, which is a sure, proven, medically verified way to improve your health, lose weight, and get prettier. It works very well. If you want to do it even quicker, there's another variation on that same page called the 80-10-10 diet, which is basically low-fat, high-fruit or high-carb, raw vegan diet, which is basically fruit mono-meals all day long, beautiful salad without oil for dinner, where the emphasis is eating massive amounts of calories from whole, fresh, ripe, raw fruit. That's the quickest way to change your body and change your health. That's not for everyone. For those of you who are curious, there's a box on the page. Not only is there a book you can buy from Amazon, but there's a box full of free information, links and 2 PDFs that are free. I'm going to read to you today from the third page of the second PDF. Once again, completely free resource. And remember, the test of anything new is not whether it makes sense to you emotionally, or whether it makes sense to you intuitionally, or whether it makes sense to you intellectually. The test is simple. Weigh in, take your measurements, take a photograph of yourself in a bikini or a swimming suit. Stick to the new diet for 100 consecutive days, no cheating. After 100 days, weigh in, take your photograph, take your measurements, compare the difference. My question is not is it uncomfortable or inconvenient the first week. My question is, after 100 consecutive days, are you enthralled with the results? If you're not, go find another system. But give it a fair shake. One of the free resources you can for 80-10-10 is the 30 Bananas a Day website, totally free. Lots of great people can give you advice. If you have problems and the free materials I give you can't help you, then get some advice from the people on 30 Bananas a Day. In the unlikely event that you have problems that they cannot address, then write me on Facebook and I'll see what I can do. Enough of that. Let's move forward. Okay, this is by a fellow named Harley. I forget his last name. And this is page 3 of his free PDF. Why do so many people become fatter on Raw? Doing Raw right is critical if we don't want to end up obese like some famous Raw speakers, chefs, authors, forum operators, etc. have. Most of these people didn't have weight issues before Raw, and now they do have. What gives? How can a fat person come to Raw and stay fat or get fatter? How can a slim person come to Raw and get fat? What is going on? I'm not putting anyone down, but rather I'm saying that if we cut down our sweet fruit calories, then we will be catching up on our calories somewhere later. And later on, and always with junk foods that slap on the pounds and slow down the metabolism and desire to exercise. Read 80-10-10 by Doug Graham. This dude is 57 and has an 8-pack or a 6-pack depending on the time of the year. His wife Roz used to be a big lass and now is a hot mama. This is, of course, Harley writing. Take advice from people getting the results you desire. If the person on stage has got a tugboat for a rear and couldn't bench press a box of bananas, perhaps they don't have the health tips you need. Perhaps they are sincere, but sincerely wrong. With so much contradiction in nutrition, it is easy to be confused. Obese and anorexics both have come to our raw retreat. They have the exact same mindset about eating enough calories for fruit. They think, if I eat that much fruit, I will get fat. The opposite is true. Anorexics become attractive and fit and healthy, and obese people become attractive and fit and healthy. Come on, peeps. You really think you can be sexy and look like a stick insect on meth? You really think you can be sexy when you look like Jabba the Hutt's stunt double? Starving yourself of sugary fruit is like starving oneself of water or oxygen or sleep, because some guru has a different theory that what Mother Nature, God, Universe, etc. had designed in us all. You don't have to rebirth yourself in a mud tank full of cane toads. You don't have to align your chakras with some sleazy guru. You don't have to starve the candida in your body of the sugary demons that are trying to demineralize you. You don't have to pray Mr. and Mrs. Hyperfoods. Next newsletter has the cure-all for your health abusive lifestyle. What do you need? You just need to objectify how much sleep, water, and sugar you need to thrive. The answer is so simple that people are often shocked at the answer. Sleep as much as you care for. Water, as much as it takes for you to urinate clear at least 10 times a day and a few times a night. Sugar, at least 3,000 calories a day of your favorite sweet fruits. Less if you're a 5-year-old. That's too much fruit? Hey, food phobic. You want to be fit, sexy, fast, switched on, drug-free, happy, energetic, and with a greyhound metabolism? So, these are radical thoughts, and this is the end of page 3. We'll hit page 4 tomorrow, if all goes well. So here's the deal. I'm going to break it down for you super simple, and I'm just going to do it by example. I know raw vegans who have very nice, expensive, huge blenders. Sometimes I buy the blenders from Blend Tech, my personal favorite. Sometimes I buy their blenders from, what's it called? Vitamix. I've owned several of those, not a big fan. And they'll make a 10 banana smoothie or a 15 banana smoothie, or they'll break out a calculator and a scale and figure out how many dates it takes to get to 1,000 or 1,500 calories, soak those overnight, drain them in the morning, turn those into a smoothie. They call that Gatorade. But they'll have this big, huge 1,000 or 1,500 calorie fruit breakfast. They'll do that again at lunch. For dinner, they'll have a huge salad. If they're still hungry after that, more fruit. Some people get the same amount of calories with smaller meals. Some do it with three banana smoothies. But the thing is, you can consume fruit once every 90 minutes, once every 2 hours throughout the day, and load up on the healthy fuel. So it's simple. A lot of fruit during the day. You're doing reverse calorie counting. On a typical diet, you count calories because you don't want to get too many. On this diet, if you count calories, is to ensure that you do not get too few, which is counterintuitive, really fun. And there are so many delicious sweet fruits. Mangoes are delicious, pineapples are delicious, grapes are delicious, bananas are delicious, dates are delicious. They're sweet and they're delicious, and it's a lot of fun to play with this. So enough of that. Let's start the workout. Now, by the way, those links I mentioned, you got links about what to eat, how to warm up, how to exercise, how to do the exact exercises I'm doing in this video, how to do easier versions of the exercises I'm doing in this video, how to do more challenging versions of the exercises I'm doing in this video. We got exercises about how to sit, how to count your finger creases, how to meditate. Directly or indirectly, the links below this video can help you out. In a worst case scenario where you're completely confused, just write a polite question in the comments section on YouTube, and I'll answer you either on YouTube or in a future video. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And now, under the watchful gaze of Coach Kitty, who's courageously holding down my bed, let's work out. Oh boy. Okay, my friends, let's warm up by performing 2 repetitions of Indian-inspired 12-phase sun salutation. That's right, cat. Okay, now that we've breathed a little deeper and broken the sweat, it's time for the circuit training. Let's do 5 circuits comprised of 5 exercises. First, heel. First, toes. First press. Whoops, gotta move the trusty space heater. Okay, first, thrusts. Yes, kitty cat. First, door strap, shins. If you're using door straps, make sure that door is closed, or you're going to fall on your tush. Welcome to the second circuit. Second heel. Second toe. Second press. Oh boy. Second thrust. I want to be out of breath. Second shin. Welcome to the third circuit. Third heel. Third toe. Third press. Third thrust. Really get that chest over those hands. Third shin. Welcome to the fourth circuit. Fourth heels. Fourth toes. Fourth, press. Thrust. Fourth, chins. Okay, welcome to the fifth and final circuit. Whew. Fifth and final. Heels. Fifth, toes. Fifth and final press. Fifth and final thrust. Fifth and final, chins. Okay, that completes this morning's high intensity body weight interval training. You want to be dripping with sweat and out of breath. If you're not, then you were cheating yourself. Whew. Whew. The headless llama, just like Sleepy Hollow. Okay, by the way, I love that movie with Johnny Depp. Very funny movie. Whew. Water, beverage of choice. Okay, I'm going to read to you from an English translation of the ancient text by Jigme Rinpoche, entitled The Quintessence of Spiritual Practice, the Direct Instructions of the Great Compassionate One. This is one of the first non-sectarian devotee of the Buddha of Compassion texts, or Rime Manipa texts, but it is distinctly fundamentalist or fear-oriented in passages. That being so, it's still an excellent resource and an excellent touchstone. Having said that, let's read at least the first portion of the Song of Thinking of Impermanence, Cause and Effect. It begins, Kiama, Kiehu. Oh, if I was only wearing glasses, but I'm sweating too much. At Samana Ang, which could be translated as weariness and deep sadness. When this vessel-like world disintegrates, it will be destroyed by fire and water. Years are also impermanent. As the year cycle gradually turns, months and seasons, the heat and cold, and the half-yearly cycles alternate, while the hours dwindle away, with the rising and setting of the sun and the moon. What I like right here is that he doesn't say believe in impermanence. He says watch the sun rise and set. Watch the moon wax and wane. Impermanence is seen in nature. Continue. The contents, remember we talked about the vessel? The contents, sentient beings who inhabit the world, are born, grow old, fall sick, and die. The changes of impermanence are like the ripples on water. It is impossible among all compounded things to find even one that will remain forever. The end result of birth is death. The end result of rising is falling. The end result of youth is deterioration, and the end result of gathering is depletion. The end result of meeting is parting. These one cannot avoid. I remember when I first started dating in 10th grade in high school. I had no car, I had no license, I would go bicycle dates. And I remember dating a gal, and she told me that she was concerned that what if it doesn't work out? You know, between two 10th graders. You know, what if it doesn't work out? And the answer was, most things don't work out. Most things end. The key is to profit from things while they last and to enjoy them while they last. And not to be so scared of loss that we forget to live. It's like seeing a movie. No matter how much we love a movie, it's going to end after 90 or 120 or 145 minutes. But the inevitability of the end of the movie does not stop us from enjoying the content of the movie. Let us continue. The perfectly awakened one, the Pratyeka Buddhas and the Arhats and all the sons and all the ones who attain the supreme and common siddhis, magical attainments, must all in the end leave their bodies behind. Where is there someone who is superior to them? Even Brahma, Indra, and the universal monarch, the king of half the world, as well as all the great kings of India, Tibet, Mongolia, and so forth, had to die. How can there be any certainty as the time of death for ungifted commoners such as me and you? So he talks about great saints dying, gods dying, at least in the Hindu concept, great kings dying. Death is inevitable. And of course I can't use the word inevitable without thinking about Agent Smith in The Matrix. Wasn't that a great flick? There are 400 kinds of sicknesses, 100,000 types of obstacles, and innumerable dangers to life and limb. Like a flame in a hurricane, there is no certainty as to when you will pass away. Like a criminal led to the scaffold, you approach death with each passing year, month, and day. One day you will meet with Yama, the Lord of Death. So that's both a Hindu and Buddhist personification of death. Some people view it literally, other people view it metaphorically. Now let's turn to causality, or interconnection, or interdependence. When medicine, protection, and the power of healing ceremonies have failed, there will come a day when you will become a corpse, just like the setting sun approaching the mountaintops. There will come a day when your death cannot be postponed. Without the power to take along your relatives and attendants, there will come a day when you must depart alone. You may have great wealth, but no freedom to take along even one day's provisions. Likewise, there will come a day when you must leave empty-handed, roaming aimlessly alone through unknown lands. There will come a time when there will be no certainty as to your destination. Your pains and agony may be great, but there will be no way to share it with others. There will come a time when you will undergo such difficulties. And of course, this is very negative, and this comes from the fearful orientation of the fundamentalists. But the point here that is inferred is this: suffering is inevitable, and if you're smart, you'll prepare for it by becoming very skilled at spiritual tools that help you manage your suffering. Let's continue. Without recognizing the dissolution stages or the luminosities of appearance and increase, there will come a time when you are at a loss about what to do. When the sounds, colors, and lights of the peaceful and wrathful deities dawn, an evil person will feel alone as if surrounded by a whole army. There will come a time of tremendous panic, fear, and terror. So this is talking about the in-between state, Tibetan, that's known as the bardo. And what the teachers are explaining is that it's a time of great disorientation and fear. So, during our lives, we must not hide from fear. We must learn how to apply the proper techniques so that we can manage fear. For if we cannot manage fear in this body, in this life, we will have even more difficulty in the in-between state. Or so the teaching goes. Carried off by the terrifying and fearsome messengers of Yama, your inherent god and demon will reveal your virtues and evil deeds. And that's the kind of like the Catholic idea of an angel on one shoulder and a demon on the other. Lying will not help, as they will be evident in the mirror and the register. There will come a time when you will regret your past misdeeds. You may desire some merit, but at that time there will be nowhere to buy or borrow it. The Lord of Death, by merit I mean good karma, the Lord of Death will be separating the white deeds from the black, the good and the bad. If you want to be without regrets at that time and still don't practice right now, you are fooling yourself, being silly and senseless. So when they say the white and the black, that's a common metaphor. It's not a racial reference. This is written by people who are born and lived and died on the Tibetan plateau in North Asia, who had most likely never seen an indigenous African. So when they say black and white, they're using metaphors. And also remember that the dichotomy of black and white was common to Taoism in China, and that China was a neighbor to Tibet at that century. Let's continue. At present you cannot bear even the touch of a fire spark, but the flames of hell are 7 times hotter than the fires of this world. How will your mind be able to bear having to be boiled and burned for aeons without being able to die? This is a fundamentalist, fear-oriented wording of the types of sufferings in hells. Now, I'm not a fundamentalist. I'm a liberal. I prefer to look at the 6 realms as metaphors for the sufferings and the causes of sufferings in this life. Fundamentalists were to get off and scaring themselves and scaring others, and they feel that fear alone will prompt them to do the right thing. Sadly, as a liberal, I look at the fundamentalists and I lament that they fail to grasp that 9 times out of 10 their fear gives birth to resentment and even more obstacles on the path. The best reason to do something is because we're motivated by love. Love, compassion, and the wisdom of letting go are the best motivators. Everything else will turn around and bite you in the tushy. When you cannot bear just wearing thin clothing for even a single winter's day, what will you do when without being able to die you are enclosed with an ice without clothes freezing for aeons? This is of course a reference to the cold hells. Thank you, fundamentalists. When you keep fasting silence right now, you feel completely dizzy. Later on for thousands of years without hearing even the words food and drink, what will you do? And at that time you're not even able to die. Present, if someone calls you old dog, you pull out your knife, but what would you do if you were actually reborn as a dog? Right now, it is enough just to flee from an army or an enemy, but what would you do when you were born in the realm of demigods? At present, you feel despair at the lightest degradation, but the misery of a fallen god is unbearable. And so this concludes the fundamentalist review of the 6 realms. And basically, you have the first realm, the lowest realm, being hell realm, which has 2 aspects, a hot aspect and a cold aspect. And then you have number 2, you have the hungry ghost realm. Number 3, you have the animal realm. Number 4, you have the human realm. Number 5, you have the demigod realm, or the asura realm. And number 6, you have the god realm, or the sura realm. That's from the fundamentalist point of view. From the liberal point of view, it kind of goes like this. There are times when we are consumed with rage, or we're surrounded by others who are full of rage and are quite dangerous and violent. That's like being in a hot hell. There are times when we experience cold rage of resentment, a cold rage of hatred, or we're surrounded by cold plotters and connivers. And that's no fun. That's the suffering that's hinted at by the metaphor of the cold hells. There are times when no matter how hard we work, we don't have enough food, we don't have enough clothing, we have profound lack. There are times when there's scarcity, there's times when there's plague, there's times when there's drought, there's times when there's famine. That would be the suffering of a hungry ghost. As a liberal, we could say there are some people who are just as dumb as a doorpost. No matter how hard they try to be clever, they're just going to be dumb as a bag of hammers. There are times when we're that way. Maybe we just haven't eaten enough that day, or we haven't slept enough that week, and we're just out of it. We're just exhausted. Times of profound stupidity is the metaphor, the liberal metaphor of an animal realm. Humans, when the human experience is that of simply the sufferings of birth, illness, old age, death, or more profoundly the sufferings of fear, realizing that we're not the fastest or the strongest, we don't have the biggest fangs or the strongest claws, we're not swift runners, we're kind of vulnerable. That sense of vulnerability and fear is a great way a liberal way of interpreting the human experience. The demigod experience is when we're consumed with jealousy and pettiness and competitiveness. The God experience, from a liberal point of view, is when we're consumed with self-satisfaction and pride and self-aggrandizement. And so those are the 6 different ways, 6 different metaphors for describing sufferings in our life. Let's continue. By the way, the inference here is that the best antidote for suffering is not to run and hide, but to apply Buddha's mental yogas to it. Let's continue reading. Sufferings in the 3 lower realms are intolerable. The pleasures of gods and humans are impermanent and totally transient. Birth, old age, sickness, and death are like ripples in water. The ocean of samsaric misery is deep. And that's what we'll stop reading for today. But let's explore the word samsara. There is a myth that samsara is the presence of suffering and nirvana is the absence of suffering. But if we really take a close look at the Buddhist scriptures, we'll see that's not quite accurate. Samsara is not merely the presence of suffering, it's the tyranny of suffering. The suffering controls our choices, our communication, our behavior. Then we are mired in the quicksand of samsara. Nirvana is not the absence of suffering. It's the transcendence of suffering. Suffering's still there, but it's no longer our boss. It no longer controls our choices, our communication, or behavior. In fact, the opposite happens. We learn how to harness the energy of suffering and use it to feed our compassion and our wisdom. Having said that, let's meditate. Yesterday's guided meditation, I taught you a 3-minute technique. It was a very concise version of Vipassana's union of awareness and letting go. Some of the awareness was contrived, some of the awareness was spontaneous. Now we're going to play with metta, another Pali word, meaning loving kindness. There are many different types of metta meditation. This is going to be your basic nuts and bolts metta meditation. There are many things we can give to others. My four favorite intangible things to give people. I think I may adjust the camera a little bit more. My 4 favorite things to give to people are wisdom, peace, love, and joy. It's been said that compassion is the intention to take away other people's sufferings and the causes of suffering, whilst love is the intention to give other people happiness and the causes of happiness, or blessings and the causes of blessings. So we're going to work with the latter. And by the way, in the Buddhist school of thought, compassion and love are 2 sides of the same coin. There's this myth in America that compassion means winking at other people's shortcomings, but in Buddhism it means the opposite. If people's shortcomings are the karmic cause of the future sufferings, then it's not compassionate to ignore them. It's compassionate to draw their attention to their shortcomings and help them shed that like a snake sheds their skin, lest they generate for themselves needless suffering in the future. And when I talk about future, I'm talking about negative rebirth and hell. I'm just talking about the natural propitiation of our foolishness. For instance, if you run up to a cop and kick him in the shins, guess what? You're going to get arrested and thrown in jail, and that is suffering. Guess what? If you put your hand in a running garbage disposal, it's going to mangle your fingers. That's suffering. So we can prevent a substantial portion of our suffering just by behaving in a very wise way right now. So this exercise is all about helping us to exercise the intention that others be blessed. And there's many, like I said, there's a whole palette of blessings we can choose from. We're going to choose the most basic blessing, which is joy. Who doesn't want to feel joy? Who's ever complained, damn it, George, I've got too much joy. Can you help scrape this stuff off me? No one. No one's ever said that. So we're going to begin with, by exploring what are some of the ways that joy could be beneficial. Because after all, we want to make sure that what we're giving to people is in fact a good thing. Now that's too many syllables, so we're going to break it down to its 3-syllable paradigm. I like to tell the joke that Lama Jigme silent meditations is the place that good grammar goes to die. So we're going to use the question, how joy good on the in-breath, releasing on the out-breath. Remember, these are rhetorical questions that we're going to ask silently and mentally. It's not our job to answer them. It works better if you don't try to answer them. Simply pay attention to the words on the in-breath, relax on the out-breath. That's the key to make rapid progress on the path. Left hand in lap, palm up. Right hand in left, palm up. Thumbs do not touch each other. How joy good, releasing. Remember, I told you we're designed to notice on our in-breath, we're designed to relax on our out-breath. So these are natural processes that we are working with. The next set of contemplative question, is, how joy feel? Releasing. This is a very empowering question to ask yourself. Don't be afraid to breathe deep. And now we're going to do something that could seem very self-indulgent. We're going to access our greed and just intend to lavish ourselves with joy. Now that could seem repugnant, but bear with me a moment. We are naturally self-centered. We're naturally greedy. We're naturally greedy to receive good things for ourselves. But if we harness that pulling energy, we get into that momentum, in a future exercise we'll be able to apply it to some others and then all others. So we'll be harnessing our selfish greed and applying it to universal love, which is a wonderful application of spiritual sleight of hand. Let's play with that right now. Now to me, give great joy. Now we're going to apply it to some others. Now to some, give great joy. Now we're going to apply it to all living beings on all worlds, this universe and the multiverse. Here we go. Now to all, give great joy. That's right, we're relaxing as we're giving the joy. One time I was teaching a cancer patient how to do something very similar to this. Instead of giving joy, we were giving health. And she asked me, how can I give something I don't possess? How can I act omnipotent when clearly I am not? The answer is simple. Our intention to give people health, or in this case, to give people joy, is a source of good karma, or very positive energy. not only does the intention to give people love, give people joy, increase a good karma, but it also acts as intention to guide our good karma. So it is a wish-fulfilling prophecy, for want of a better term. Now let's switch gears from all to each, because we don't want anybody slipping through the floorboards. Now to each, out breath, give great joy. Now for the final third, the final minute of this meditation, we're going to use the one-syllable paradigm. Each on the in-breath, joy on the out-breath. Don't worry about other thoughts popping up in the background and doing cartwheels across your mind. That's natural. We're aware of what's going on. We're just not obsessed with what's going on. It's kind of like a mother carrying on a conversation on the telephone while her children are being spazzes in the background. Now to each, give great joy. That concludes this morning's first 3-minute meditation, Meta's delivery of joy. For the second 3-minute meditation, we're going to review what we learned yesterday, simple Vipassana. Vipassana is union of awareness and letting go. And now today we have a complete practice. We have something for the heart and the mind. We have love and we have letting go. This is the essence of Buddha's entire path. Let's ask the rhetorical question, what's seeing on the in-breath, releasing on the out-breath? What hearing, releasing. What feeling, releasing. Second minute. How could this be funny? Grin with lips, releasing. Grin with cheeks, releasing. Grin with eyes, releasing. Noticing, relaxing. This ease. That concludes this morning's 6-minute guided meditation. Do yourself a favor, jot down the contemplative notation for these exercises, and you can say, ask what a contemplative notation is. That would be things like, how joy good, releasing, how joy feel, releasing, now to me, give great joy, now to some, give great joy, now to all, give great joy. Now to each, give great joy. Each, joy. Another example of contemplative notation could be what seeing, really sing. What hearing, really sing. What feeling, really sing. How could this be funny? Grin with lips, really sing. Grin with cheeks, really sing. Grin with eyes, really sing. Noticing, relaxing, this ease. Now, right now it may seem overwhelming, but if you persist with this, it will become second nature. Perform these exercises no less than once a morning, no less than once an evening, and you'll watch your life become more and more manageable. I'm not going to lie to you and saying you'll never suffer again, but you'll get better and better at dealing with life's glories as well as its grotesqueries. Okay. I invite you to join me for a gentle set of geriatric yoga we call Untying the Heart's Knots. Now that you get the concept of giving people good things as an act of love, we can combine that. We can combine both wisdom practices and love practices with our yoga set. Please sit erect and lace your hands behind your tush. Please open your chest and twist to the left. Why give wise? Really sing. Please reverse now to each give great wise. Remember I told you, we focus on wisdom, peace, love, and joy. Please release your hands, place them in the lap, swing them out and overhead. Please bend to the left. While I give peace, releasing. Please reverse now to each give great peace. Back to center. Let's make our way into downward facing fetal position, which is also known as child's pose. Now give to each, love for all. Curl your fingers into fists. Place your knuckles upon your yoga blanket just above your knees. Tuck your elbows in. Enthusiastically straighten your arms. Ride the momentum into the seated samurai position, which is also known as lion's pose. Please lace your hands behind your tush. Please open your chest. Drop your head. Roll your gaze up. How could this be funny? Let's try that again. My mistake. What seeing, really seeing? What hearing, really seeing? What feeling, really seeing? Please release your hands. Please cup your palms. Press your hands together so that the center of each palm is hovering before the upper third of your chest. Please relax your shoulders down and use your hands to twist to the left. Why give joy? Releasing. Back to center. Relax the shoulders down. Twist to the right. Now to each, give great joy. So let's prepare for the cat-cow asana. Open mouth, slack jaw. Give to each great comfort. That's each give comfort. Please stand up. Place your weight upon the major and minor ball of each foot behind the big and little toe, heels off the ground, supple bend in the knees, hips thrust forward, hands laced behind the tush. Open chest, drop the head, roll the gaze up. How could this be funny? Grin with lips, releasing. Noticing, relaxing. Okay, guys. We're going to perform the last 4 bows while performing 3 verbal recitations. These are the 3 recitations of dedication of good karma, or dedication of merit. If you turn your attention to the links below the video, one of those links will take you to the class materials page. You can download the free PDF of the latest version of the first set of lesson texts. Every lesson concludes with those 3 recitations. If you recite them once every morning, once every night, within just a number of weeks or months, you will have accidentally memorized them. Come on, let's practice now. Let's start with 2 repetitions of Indian-inspired 12-face sun salutation. By this virtue may I now accomplish the spontaneous, habitual, easy, and effective mastery of Buddha's mental yogas, of wisdom, peace, love, and joy, and now lead every living being, without exception, to this ground. May everyone be healthy, wealthy, and happy. May everyone practice skillfully and joyfully. May everyone accomplished and resilient in this life. And then help many others do likewise. For truly that is the meaning of life. Om Mani Padme Hum. I must perform 2 repetitions of Vietnamese inspired vows. May I always be cared for throughout all my lives by the Buddha of compassion, emanating as my kind teacher. And as such, may I always enthusiastically and joyfully tread this excellent path praised by the conquerors. Well, my friends, I thank you for your time and your kind attention. I thank you for your support and your enthusiasm to be your best, both physically and spiritually. May you and yours be healthy and happy. Om Mani Padme Hum. Before we go on, I remind you to find the subscribe button, give that a click, and to click the like button as well as the share button. At the very end, at the very, very end, please turn your attention to the big YouTube button over here, and you give that a click. It'll take you to your home page. If you scroll down on the left, you'll notice a tab that reads Manage Subscriptions. If you give that a click, you could look up either Lama Jigme, or you could look up Tantric Sex God 1. To the right, there'll be a box, and if you use your mouse to click that, put a check in that box, you receive an email notification when I upload my next video. Remember those links I told you about below the video? Well, you could use one of those links to help keep this monk fed, which would be beautiful, but not mandatory. And there's another link that you could use to register for the next series of live weekly webinars. When do they begin? Tuesday, the 2nd of July. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.